This is a moment where Rupert Lowe is being honest with everyone about reform. On April 28th, he posted a very long tweet, and the summary is not reform is nothing but glossy pictures of Nigel Farage. So think about that. I'm gonna go ahead and read his whole statement because I know some people don't want to do something like that, but I want to get his words on the record for those that don't want to read his post. So I'll read it for you, I guess, and you can just listen. I've received countless questions on my recommendations for who to vote for this Thursday, and I have thought long and hard about the answer. Here is my honest assessment. For months, I pushed reform to propose radical but credible policies, to detail it, with substance and costings, write it down, produce policy documents. I was mocked and ignored. I hoped that there might be some form of plan for these elections. Maybe a well thought out policy or two, to even go as far as to write a proposal, not thrown together on a flashy social media graphic, but in properly constructed sentences on an actual document. None came, nothing. As we get day after day after day as glossy pictures of Nigel Farage. No manifesto, just an empty promise that reform will fix it. How? Please tell me how. If I have to watch another overproduced video of Farage, I'll vomit turquoise-colored confetti. Sweeping shots backed by booming, dramatic music of the man going about mundane campaign activities. It's a parody. Where's the policy? All we get is vacuous bowl piled on top of more vacuous bowl, purely designed to pump up Farage's ego at the time when British airspace is already dangerously full. That's actually funny. I'm not interested. I want numbers, detail, substance, a plan. Even when a vague policy has been discussed by reform, what happened? In January, when Farage announced that reform would hold an inquiry into rape games, I was so proud to be a Reform MP, using our parliamentary platform in order to deliver justice, launching a campaign that would bring real change for thousands of victims. We gave those women and their families genuine hope. What did Farage do? He took the credit. He did the media rounds, got his social media views, and then dumped the idea. With no explanation and with no apology, it makes my skin crawl. I felt ashamed to have been part of that vile circus act. I still do. It's just not how I operate. I'm sorry for my role in it. As you know, I have worked so hard over the last month attempting to repair that mistake through launching our own inquiry. What was Farage's response to that funding effort from almost 20,000 supporters? He said there's no point. Class, he certainly lacks. Then on deportations, amazingly, Farage won't commit to deporting all illegal migrants. He still refers to those that enter future tense. Every illegal migrant living in the country must go. We don't need clever wordplay, we need categorical commitments. As you know, Farage personally instructed me to remove the term mass deportations of illegal migrants from my speech. He calls it a political impossibility and a very grave, dark, and dangerous use of language. Reform even blocked me on their social media channels for quoting Farage's own words on this. A party of supposed free speech should be willing to take mild criticism from an independent MP, surely. I tabled a motion in the Commons calling exactly for the mass deportations of all illegal migrants. Has Farage signed it? Tice? Anderson? No, none. More conservative MPs have supported my mass deportation motion than Reform. Please listen to me when I say this. Reform's leadership does not share the opinions of the membership on so much of such importance. Perhaps most concerningly, Farage alarmingly states if we politically alienate the whole of Islam, we will lose. Think very carefully about what he is saying here. He is afraid of Islam, is what he's saying. I could play you the clip here shortly, and then continue on.
British Muslims have a more likely to have a positive than a negative view of Hamas. It seems to me that it's not the majority.
The figures that I took from that mattered and that I used on Trevor Phillips' programme on Sky News that caused such consternation were that 23% of 18 and 24-year-old young Muslim men thought jihad was acceptable. Now, so there's nuance to these arguments, and this is where it's so difficult to have any sane national debate about anything. The nuanced argument is that there is a growing number of young Muslim males who loathe who we are. Loathe. But the vast majority live peacefully, even if their sympathies may lie in a slightly different direction. And we all have sympathies in terms of our own tribe, our own family, when at times it may not be rational. Am I concerned about the Hamas stuff? Of course I am. But the nub of it is, we have a Muslim population in Britain growing by about 75% every 10 years. Right? That's just where we are.
Mm-hmm.
If we politically alienate the whole of Islam, we will lose. We'll lose.
So how does one include
We
them?
will lose. By 2050, goodness knows what kind of a terrible state we're going to be in.
My view, there needs to be an honest national debate around the influence of Islam and how it is shaping our way of life against the wishes of the vast majority. Farage does not share that opinion and pushes the same crippling cowardice that has allowed our civilization to be held hostage out of fear of offending one religion, Islam. British values need to be robustly and courageously defended, even if the results in unpleasant insults of racism and Islamophobia from an establishment that will always hate us. I don't care about that. Sadly, Farage does, and that fear shapes him. The reform suggestion of net zero immigration is entirely inadequate. That would still be accepting hundreds of thousands of migrants into the country every year. For the foreseeable future, there needs to be significantly more people leaving the UK than entering, not just including the removal of illegal immigrants, but those who came legally yet have failed to uphold their end of the deal. Yeah, that's a good one. He's probably referring to the family members that enabled the rape gang. That's interesting. Again, just more reform pandering to the middle ground of politics. We don't need additional centrist rot. We need radical change. Reform does not offer that, and it's getting softer every day. I won't dwell on my own experience with the exit from reform. You all know what happened. I want to focus on policy and substance. So please tell me where the comprehensive local election policies on potholes, social care, high street renewal, bins, public transport, housing policies, education, SEND support, children care, planning, business rights, parking. I could go on. Can you name one proper detailed local election policy? I can't. These local councils really matter. They play a huge part in all of our lives. I simply cannot endure a party that has put so frightening little thought into what it would actually do with the power. Reform's plan is to ride the protest wave, faced with two obscenely unpopular mainstream parties, but offer absolutely nothing constructive, chasing power for the sake of power, to win the game, and it is a game to them. Reform leadership has treated its own membership like dirt, dictated to them, ignored them, used them. Central planning doesn't work in politics any more than it worked in the Soviet Union. Real movements trust their people. Reform does not. Members cast aside failing vetting for no good reason. Woeful delegation. The branches are what make a political party. The work is done on the streets, not in some flashy London office. Reform members are good, honest people. They deserve better. Great leaders don't create followers, they create more leaders. In reform, there is space for one and only one. There can only ever be one. For years, many people on our side of the politics voted for the least worst option. It got us nowhere. I don't see any point doing it again. Principles matter. Would I vote for reform? No, is the honest answer. Britain doesn't need a protest, it needs a plan. Reform has not presented anything near one. A vote for reform on Thursday is an endorsement for their condescending electoral strategy fueled by arrogance, rage, and ego, not a genuine passion for any radical change. Reform is not the answer. This is not a general election. Vote for a candidate who cares about your local community and has presented credible policies on how they can actually benefit your area. I wouldn't worry too much about the color of the rosette this time. Do what is right for your community. It's not letting Labor in. Labor is in and will be firmly in until 2029. Nothing that happens this week will change that. At the time of these elections, I will be an independent MP. It will not remain that way forever. There will be an alternative to reform, I promise you that. And this was posted on April 28, 2025 by Rupert Lowe on his X account. As you can see, he's serious about stopping all incoming migration via the boats and the Channel Passage, and he wants to actually export a lot of the criminals and a lot of the people that haven't held up their end of the bargain when it comes to coming into the United Kingdom and Great Britain. So think about that. Think about his words, and I thank you for watching. Have yourself a good day, and I'll see you in the next one. Again, thank you for watching. Please consider watching another video. Like and share so the videos get traction, and I appreciate it, and have yourself a wonderful day.